Um, Last night I had a chatter ask me about Elder Deep-Fiend, or yet not last night, yesterday morning I had a chatter ask me about Elder Deep-Fiend. Thank you, Esther. And Anti-Kajo Vestige, just both big Eldrazi. One likes to be sacrificed, the other one sacrifices. And I was pretty interested in looking at one of our two. Or I guess it's just, I was looking at the Eldrazi Birthing Ritual deck for a bit, trying to slot Deep-Fiend in there to go more in on anti-causal vestige. But then I instead decided to go back to like the mono blue counterspell Eldrazi shell that we were working on earlier this year, late last year too. This was the archetype I've always really liked, but this is an archetype I really liked and was bad against Boros. It kind of reminds me of, to some extent, the Simic Ritual deck, which has been doing really well lately. That's also a deck that we were working on that was like really good against most of the field, but very bad against Boros. And I think that with Boros's big decline that it's seeing right now, it's a good time to kind of put a more focus on these kind of decks that have a lot of game against, the non-Boros decks. Just getting access to a lot of combo hate as Eldrazi is really exciting. So like this deck is playing Thought-Knot Seer, you're playing Force of Negation, you're playing Sync, you're playing Chalice of the Void, you're playing Subtlety, you're playing Hope-Ender Coatl, which is the Force Spike Eldrazi, in addition to K-Command, of course. Deep-Fiend also tapping down your opponent's land. Like this is really like the anti-combo Eldrazi deck. If you are an Eldrazi gamer and you're like, dang, I can't beat the Amulet Titan deck ever, this is the build for you. This deck, the combination of Subtlety, Deep-Fiend, Thought-Knot Seer makes you actually pretty good. The matchup, Sync is pretty good too. And then the deck has also become, like, I think, really big upgraded since we got the printing of Quantum Riddler. Riddler gives you like the density of blue cards that you were kind of missing to play the spinny pitch spells, right? We were playing the full 4 force. I think 3 is better right now. But before you just had 16 blue cards. Now we're up to 19, which is just a really comfortable amount. And then it also kind of maybe should go more so without saying, but Quantum Riddler is better in a deck that wants to play a lot of pitch cards because you get to draw more cards with it. Quantum Riddler is also really good in a deck that has access to a lot of ramp. Just being able to Ugin's Labyrinth and Talisman of Dominance out a Quantum Riddler earlier after you are kind of dumping your hand with like Ugin's Labyrinth and Talismans. That's felt really good. I was really close to wanting to play more Talismans because of that. But I think with all of the prowess in the metagame, I wanted to main deck at least 2 Chalice of the Voids. And then the other thing about Quantum Riddler is that when you get it into play, you can also just sack it to Elder Deep-Fiend for 2 mana and like really just lock your opponent out of the game. I found that to be like just a really, really nice upgrade. I ended up feeling like the anti-causal vestiges weren't as good in this deck as they've been in some other builds. I think they're fine. Kind of a good grindy card that you can play and cycle early and sack the Deep-Fiend later, but I didn't want to play more than like 2 copies. Don't think the sideboard is too crazy. I just want to go up to the full 4 Chalice post board against Prowess. I think All Is Us is a really, really versatile sideboard card right now. Not a card you necessarily want to main deck, but against like the Boros and the Blink decks and like the Quantum Energy deck. Nice card to be able to have access to. Yeah, I guess we can go ahead and get in there. Good morning, everybody. Hope you're enjoying your Thursday today. No Dango today. They're going to have a fun time to go stream. Well, Dingo's been streaming in the evenings. He's Okay, sorry. I have restarted the stream. I don't know if it's gonna work. I meant to do another go live screen and then it didn't let me drop from the league, so I figured we'll just jump back in. To those who were here for the earlier tech support failure, it does seem like the issue is the internet outages in the area, or there's a lot of reports from specifically my area having problems due to the DNS outages. So I decided to try USB tethering my phone to my PC to see if I could just download Magic Online. Downloaded it really fast. The speeds are not super high, but I think it's enough to allow us to stream for today. I tried editing the gateway like y'all suggested, but it kept airing out on me. All right. Let's end some hope here. So, but if you know if that's the issue, I'm just tethered to my phone, going off the phone's internet, and hopefully that is good enough. I usually get pretty good speeds. Kind of optimistic that this will hold for the time being. We might have some crashes. If we have some crashes, we might end again, but I think this will be fine for now. They have a Blade of the Bloodchief in their hand, so got to take that. They can't cast either of their 4-drop yet, but they're pretty close to being able to. Okay, so we have been Thought-Knot Seer bugged. Wait, they didn't equip the blade? Is this Texasing? Maybe. I mean, I think we have got an issue with ISPs being really bloated and taking a lot of government money all over the the country and not really doing anything with it. So I'm pretty sure I'm just going to bounce the Brood Scale in response to the Adapt. Then maybe I'll do it again. They top deck a Rumble, which is really, really good, but they do very thankfully miss on a land here. Then they sack the Vexing Bauble after putting a Glaring Fleshraker into their hand, and then they miss their land again. So let's go ahead and get in for 6. It's like I can't warp the Riddler, but if I want to hold up the sink, we can just hold up the sink. I guess this evoking this would be better than warping the Riddler. All right, so I want to bounce the Brood Scale in response to the equip. Or do I want to bounce it in response to the token sacrifice? What could I lose to? Yeah, if they have a land, they can adapt in response to the trigger. All right. Up a game. Gonna bring in 4 copies of Consign. I'm gonna bring in the Dismember. Let's cut the Chalices. I think they're not the worst. Maybe the first Chalice in one is still pretty good. Although I brought in a bunch of Consigns, so maybe it's not. I think I'm gonna cut the anti-causals. Most of the Force of Negations, if not all of the Force of Negations. Yeah, the first Chalice is probably okay. Do I want one of these? Don't think I do. Maybe one force is okay. Forcing a blade, forcing a rumble, forcing a K command. Okay, I'll play one. Alright, we get to Gemstone Caverns. I think we should pitch the basic island. Don't think I would consign a blade this turn. Can't consign that. So they find a Blade of the Bloodchief. Nothing to imprint. We can still go Talisman with Consign up. Pretty punished for putting the island back, or maybe we'll see if we just draw the land. I like that, like drawing a land or imprintable was live this turn to get to the 4th mana. Okay, interesting that they have a like maybe this is really minor, but they showed us Cavern on Eldrazi, so now I know I need to consign the blade, but I wonder if they should have cast it first, because I'm not so sure that I would have consigned the blade if they had not played the Cavern first. Does that make sense? Although I do have the subtleties for the Brood Scales. So they both don't play the blade out, and they also don't sack the lantern. It's a bit weird. Thank you, other cross. Oh no, I have clicked OK through the blade of the Bloodchief here, unintentionally. All right, let me cast a Thought-Knot Seer. But thank you, other cross. They had another Saga in their hand, and they didn't play the first one till now. It's also a little weird. These Saga tokens are going to be pretty tricky, though. I might need to consign the second Saga trigger. Okay, so that was one of their draws here. Interesting that they played it instead of the second Saga. Probably going to just go Nulldrifter Consign with Subtlety up here. instead of consigning the Saga Chapter 3. Yeah, we didn't have the mana up to consign this Saga token generating thing. Yeah, but I think just scamming a Nulldrifter is probably going to be fine. Maybe I would draw something that would make me not want to do that. K-Command is probably the closest thing to something we're going to get, but I think we're still going to consign. Yeah, I kind of figured there wasn't going to be like a go live notification. It's probably going to be a pretty small stream today, but yeah, I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks. I want to get a stream in. I think we should mulligan. We can turn 2 Talisman, but we need to draw a colorless source so bad anyways. This hand needs to draw land. Also, I think we could just go to 5. Our deck tends to mulligan pretty well, although this hand has no lands. Now I wish I had kept either of the other ones. We're going to a non-functional 3. Okay, so let me... I guess like they could maybe be playing Neoform and we could steal a win with like a Force of Negation, but we're actually, I think, not going to plan to win this game. We're going to try to just see what they're doing. See what the deck is so we can sideboard. Not going to try to win the game on the Mold to 3. So Wooded Foothills, Elegant Parlor. Likely means this is Storm, and we did keep the Force of Negation. Should we try to win? Should we try to win this game? It's not a question I ask myself very often. Usually the default is just yes. Usually you don't mold to 3. Alright, I think we'll just keep it moving here. Alright, so I'm gonna bring in the Chalices. Cut the Vestiges. Gonna bring in the 4th Force. I think I probably want the first Dismember. I want to go down on the Subtleties, probably down to 0. So maybe I just need to play the Vestiges. Ghost Vacuum is not good graveyard hate against them. Subtlety too narrow. The first Consign can be okay to counter Ruby. Sometimes they'll bring in Stormscale Scion against us too. It also pitches to Force. So maybe we'll just play 2 Consigns. I just the Vestige I think is so bad against them. I think that it pitches to Force and has more text. Cut some blue cards. Doesn't encounter the Storm trigger. So I say this most times you play against Storm, someone brings this up. Countering the Grapeshot trigger is almost irrelevant. That's almost like not a factor in the matchup at all. By the time Ruby Storm gets to the Grapeshot's point, it's really easy for them to Grapeshot a second time or a third time. Countering the Storm trigger on something like Galvanic Relay or Stormscale Scion or Empty the Warrens is relevant, but those are pretty few and far between. Yeah, for Chalice, you just want X2. There's no point in X equals 1. Ghost Vacuum you like Ghost Vacuum against Storm? I feel like Ghost Vacuum is only good against Storm if they go for a Past in Flames that like fizzles or they like surveil Past in Flames into the yard. I think it's like so rare that it's good outside of that. Yeah, I'm back for now. I'm using my phone's internet. It seems like there's some outages in the area that were causing the issues earlier. So it's good to identify those and hopefully we can be kind of stable. Seem pretty stable so far. Yeah, Consign countering Ruby is good, but just whenever we think about bringing Consigning and Storm, we're not thinking about consigning the Grapeshot trigger to like just stop them from killing us. A lot of Storm lately. More Storm than I would think. Maybe this will fix Dingo's image issues. Yeah, this seems to be like the problem for sure. Dingo's like been convinced that there's something wrong with your hard drive, man. It's the hard drive. I'm like, I'm pretty sure it's not the hard drive. I'm pretty sure it's on there. The internet's problem. And now that I'm using a different internet source, definitely seems to be the case. All right, Graveyard's a mountain. We never even tried Jolton Awake Energy Citadel. Yeah, I just got to get 4 extra energy. I'll let you know, Chromus. I think I'm pretty convinced it's just the internet stuff. And I'm also going, like, I have 1 stream left till Japan too, so I'm trying to just mostly relax and focus on the upcoming trip rather than stressing about this too much. But I do appreciate the thought as always. So sad we can't scam the Nulldrifter, but happy that the Nulldrifter has found us more mana. We'll hold up the Consign still, and then be pretty happy to slam Chalice on 2 with Force up next turn. Really liking the Hope-Ender Coatl. Hope-Ender Coatl usually much better in hands of people who aren't streaming than hands of people who are, for whatever that's worth. They reveal a mountain and a ruby. Firebrain scheme, I guess. Chalice in 1 a little bit more relevant than it used to be. I'm glad people are trying this. I know, like, I definitely figured that Firebrain scheme was good in Storm after playing it and liking it so much in the... I guess we'll leave ourselves the ability to pitch the sink. I liked it a lot when we were playing the Arcanist deck, but I didn't exactly feel like it's different enough to, like, jam a Storm League on stream, but I'm glad that people have picked it up. There was a card that made 4 energy instead of all the cards making 3. I think the Jolted Awake Citadel stuff would be a lot more interesting. Graveyard's Arin's Resolve. Has a spell to play. Okay, interesting. Not sure what that's about. Yeah, the good old Chalice check. Would be worth the main deck some number of consigns for Riddler and LED? It could be. I'll say that consigning your own Riddler trigger isn't very interesting. It's like it's not really card advantage. It's just kind of, you spend 3 mana for a 4/6 flyer, which is not crazy. I think I would be closer to playing one of, like, the blue flicker cards. Let's get a little bit more pressure down. What DNS ended up using? I kept erroring out every time I tried, and so I ended up, instead of switching the DNS, I ended up just mobile or USB tethering my phone, which did confirm that it is internet outage issues. And it's holding for now. Hopefully, this will get us through today and maybe tomorrow if we have other issues still tomorrow. Why didn't you consign Riddler right now? It would be a 2-turn clock. I mean, we can't really lose this game if we pass hold up all of the counter magic. I think that's pretty safe. I think that a lot of times you lose the game to Storm once you start to hold up less interaction, and you hold up less interaction and you give them the window to remove your lock piece. Why does stream work but not modem, not computer guy? So again, I'm not really fully understanding everything that's happening, but from what chatters were saying and from the forums I was skimming online, it's like the outages are not affecting the entire internet. They're not affecting your upload download speed, but they're affecting your ability to access certain sites. And then one of the things I saw in the forum was that, like, some streaming services weren't working, like Hulu, and Hulu hasn't been working for us, and I haven't been able to watch the new One Punch Man. So it seems like that's definitely what is affecting, and it seems like part of that somehow, unluckily, Magic Online is also being affected. I don't think I've ever seen Moto so snappy on the stream. It does seem notably snappier. I agree. Okay, we have a turn 1 Hope-Ender available to counter one of their 2-drops. Let's go ahead and pitch one of the Lrien Revealeds, and then probably going to cycle on turn 0 here so that we can go Hope-Ender into turn 2 Seer. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the One Punch Man manga. I've been reading it for, like, almost 10 years now. I'm a little bit behind. Every time Murta does, like, a bunch of redraws, I just put it down for a little bit. and I let him finish redrawing, and I haven't picked it up for like the last, I'm probably like 10 chapters behind or something. But I've been very excited for like this arc to get animated, and so far it looks like what I've been seeing on the subreddit, people are not happy. Right, you got to take what you can get with the Hope-Ender. Hope-Ender, I think, is pretty underrated. Turn 1 Hope-Ender, turn 2 Thought-Knot Seer. I don't know if it's a country thing. I'm from Canada, and I'm constantly shocked by how terrible internet seems to be in the U.S. I think like most things in the U.S., it's like, do you have the money to pay for it? It's good, or it's functional, and if you don't, you don't. It's awful. I think the internet falls into that category pretty squarely. Love porting your modern decks in Historic. Do y'all have Eldrazi Temple yet in Historic? Well, remember when we mulled the 3 in game 1? Seems like I'll just hold up the interaction here since they're dead next turn. We could draw 2. I guess we just let that go. Rather counter a ritual. Lucky the stream let me know you were live. Yeah, thankfully, I kind of figured we weren't going to get another notification out when we did the stream restart. It is what it is. We haven't had like big tech issues in a while. We were kind of due. Thankfully, it wasn't during the Bissell streams. I thought I was flexing 5 gigs up and down. 1,000 is crazy. Okay, 2-0. Let's go to 5. All right, pretty solid 5. Riddle combo with mulliganing the 5, I guess. Let's put back the Subtlety and I guess either Ugin's Labyrinth or Chalice. Probably just put back the Chalice on the draw here. For on a mull to 5 against Boros, that's gonna be on the draw. That's not gonna be so good. Remember when we lost like 9 die rolls against Boros in a row? Okay, we need their hand to be all galvanic discharges. Okay, I did choose the bottom of the Talisman. I was just thinking like, do I get to draw an extra card and then like hardcast the Riddler? Is that particularly interesting? Kind of decided no. I guess we can go like warp the Vestige, put the Talisman into play, draw a card, but just like not super likely to do well on the draw here against the Spyro and on our mull to 5. Discarding a Flage, Arena of Glory in play. Let's see if we can top deck a K command to try to stabilize here. All right, let's just keep it moving. I think. I guess they could have nothing, but we're on the mull to 5. All right, so we're getting the All Is Dust, the Chalices, the Dismember, and then I think I also am I'm a fan of Ghost Vacuum against them. The Ghost Vacuums can get a little bit weird though with the Chalices. We do have K command for Flage, Subtlety for Flage. Okay, maybe just not playing them. And then I think I want 2 Force of Negations for Moons. Like between our Lrien Revealed for Islands and Talismans, we're not like the weakest to Moon. Moon shuts off only K command from being cast. Also, if you just have Islands, you can cast everything else besides K command. So we maybe are just kind of comfy going down to 1 Force. Seems fine. You can vestige in the vacuum, although we only have 2 vestiges. I'll play 1. I think that's good enough. You do end up ulting the ghost vacuum a lot. Okay, so let's keep this. I'm going to lead on Sync Ghost Vacuum, and then this way the Hope-Ender is maybe a little less telegraphed. Cut the Hope-Enders. Hope-Ender is just good. It's just like 2 mana counter target spell. It's like 2 mana Force Spike with a 2/2 flyer. I don't know. Maybe the body's just not that relevant, but it also, like, Hope-Ender is really important to keep in the deck when you have Elder Deep-Fiend, so you can sack to it. It's like your Deep-Fiends become so much worse. I just think that I almost never cut Hope-Enders. Maybe against Tron sometimes. Have I tried Jackal/Drenith in any show? Yeah, I tried it in the Relic of Legends Humans deck, and we definitely did some strong stuff with it. Definitely did some strong stuff. Oh, sorry, I need to vacuum this up. Thank you. Shout out Bissell. Shout out Bissell. Interesting. Yeah, we can go ahead and Chalice on 1, I think. Yeah, I like Jackal. I think it ended up not being optimal for the shell. It's a pretty fragile card, but it is a pretty dang cool one. So can't dismember that because it is protected on their turn here. Why don't we go ahead and just K command? So scry draw and exile the Voice of Victory. Could definitely see liking both of these a lot. Yeah, I think I'm just going to go ahead and keep both. Put the Subtlety in my hand in case I want a Subtlety this turn, although that seems pretty unlikely. Yeah, I don't think we need to Subtlety the Spyro here. They discard 2 lands. Interesting that they did not discard any 1-mana creatures from their hand. Then they play an Arena of Glory, and then they play into the Chalice. Is it ethical to vacuum up a monkey? I don't know. Seems like a gray area at best. I'm gonna hold up Subtlety, I think, instead of just jamming the Deep-Fiend here. I think we're really likely to be able to get something. Okay, so they have a Flage, but I have Ghost Vacuum in play. Are they giving up? Seems like they forgot about the Chalice. Luckily for us, this is not an ethics stream. Well, if my internet continues to fail, we may have to pivot into the niche gamer ethics genre. All right, they put the Ajani on top, so we'll probably just try to set up to Subtlety it again. When playing Monopoly. You know that your friend has a very, very loose grasp on the mechanics of Monopoly, and you feel like you can manipulate them easily. No way they forgot with Ragavan next turn, but how could their play have possibly been correct? If they like I have Ghost Vacuum in play, like they're not setting up for Flage. Did you hear about basketball ethics? 30 folks arrested for illegal gambling, game fixing. I saw that the Trailblazers coach was arrested for the gambling stuff. Okay, so do I show them Deep-Fiend? Why not? Probably just scare him. Well, I could also ult the Vacuum and get a Ragavan and a Guide of Souls. I saw that my GOAT, Victor Wembanyama, dropped 40 on my Dallas Mavericks. Oh, right. That's right. It's underneath the lab. Nice. Okay, so we are going to game 3 on the draw against Boros. It's been a very smooth, or I guess not very. Can you say that if you mull to 3 and over the course of the league? It's been a league so far. I do think I kind of want some forces on the draw. Maybe I'm going to go down on the Vestiges. That's just kind of bad against Boros. Maybe Vestige is bad in general. I think it's something I want to keep exploring more with the Deep-Fiends, though. It's crazy that you would, like, be an NBA coach, presumably making 7 figures, top of your career field, and then feel like you would, like, in any way ever jeopardize that by doing illegal gambling. Like, that is so wild to me. Okay, so definitely in on this all is dust plan here. An awesome draw. I see Blood Moon turn 3. I think we can turn 3 K command through the Blood Moon. No, I guess we'll be one short because we're gonna. We could if we drew another all is dust, I guess, or another imprintable. Yeah, greed is really, really crazy. Never upset about top decking another K command. Yeah, 2 basic planes. It does feel like the Blood Moon is coming. Nothing main phase 1 for the Guide of Souls. So we're going to have 6 mana next turn. Assuming that this Blood Moon is here. It's a Mafia thing too, so who knows how they got roped in. Discard a card, then draw 2 cards. If it's Flage, you kind of have to exile Flage. Okay, to solve, you have no cards in your hand. Begin your upkeep. If it's solved, discard your hand and draw 2 cards. Huh. This is a card I kind of wanted to play some with, and I never did. Well, now we can all is dust. I think I don't want the Hope-Ender at the moment. I do think the draw 3 is probably going to be pretty good. Maybe just like a little bit better than the average top deck. Okay, that is not the average top deck. Goodbye, board. It's probably not really very correct for me to aggressively exile the Flage. Like if my opponent spins 4 mana next turn, exiling the Flage, like I'd rather just take the 3 damage and then K command it. I think I'll imprint here. I got 2 K commands in my hand. And the Lrien Revealed. But yeah, I think I'm okay to take the 3 to like time walk them. Although now they're trying to time walk me. So we'll just exile the Flage and scry draw. So I get to exile 5 cards. 1. I guess I don't exile creatures because I've got a Ghost Vacuum in my deck. I don't want any of this. No, thank you. Can live with that. So I think I can just like cast a Nulldrifter this turn, although drawing the Chalice, maybe I want to Chalice first. Sure, let's. Don't you make spawns there? Not care about Flage at all since backup K command. Maybe but the thing is, if I exile the Flage with this K command, my other K command is free to do other stuff. Also, I don't know. I feel like in these kind of spots, the main way you lose is you just like get really flooded. I know I've got the stuff underneath the labs where they could Blood Moon the labs, so I feel like I just want to keep the crazy top decks coming if I can. And then look, here's a bunch of crazy top decks. Never got the new go live notification. Yeah, I kind of figured that would happen. It's okay. I knew that like restarting a stream after like 30 minutes tech support was always going to be Not the best idea, but I wanted to be here for y'all today. It actually does feel like they're Chalice checking me, doesn't it? I guess hold on. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 mana. I guess I could just Psycho the Lrien Revealed. No, we're gonna stream tomorrow too. And then that'll be the last stream before the wedding. Are they not just bidding cards for Flage? I don't know. I exiled the Flage, so they might be doing it for a future Flage, I suppose. I think I'm just gonna go ahead. Oh, yeah, let's go ahead and block, and then they can chump block. That's okay. Next turn. Yeah, I'm glad we're finally at the wedding part of the wedding. I think I just have another All Is Dust over here, so I think I'm just gonna go All Is Dust, and then draw 2 with the Riddler. I think I should. For some reason, I'm really itching to just Island Cycle, but this could be even a draw 4. Nice. All right, those are 2 pretty good top decks. I guess we did scry a lot of nonsense to the bottom. Yeah, 3 cards in their hand, Chalice and 1 in play. Their hand has not seemed particularly strong up until this point. I guess if they did surveil a Flage into the yard here, we could play some Magic the Gathering. They put a card on top instead, and then they have a Seasoned Pyromancer. So they're going to draw that card they put on top. If it's a 1-drop, they'll probably cast it into the Chalice. They discard 2 Galvanic Discharges. And the 4th K command. Describe that all as the top? Yeah, I know. I just wasn't sure if I was gonna cast it. We could have been annihilating them for days now. There's a lot of ways we could have won this game. Including this way. The Annihilator 1 is also like, I guess an opponent underneath the Chalice on 1 with 5 lands in play. It's not doing a lot. Sure, just force this. So we could maybe draw on our opponent's turn with K command and draw an extra card. Alright, so they chump my Deep Friends. Heroically still battling. Any Darko, the 29 months. Thank you so much. Welcome back. Well, I did not think the Boros matchup was very good. I mean, this was kind of our experience playing the deck in the past. Was pretty good against the field, not super good against Boros, but we did have like the timely early All Is Dust in the post board sideboard game when we were on the draw, which is like usually kind of what you need. Not a very good hand on the play. I think I'm gonna keep this on the play though. The stream dies at the 5-0 yes or no. It's a refund. Dark with 25 bucks. Congrats on the wedding. Have an awesome time in Japan. Hell yeah. I mean, if they've got Pinnacle Emissary on top, I guess we should Chalice on 0. There are mod slots open. No VIP's is probably never coming back. We're a lot closer than we used to be, but it's just still like from like my all-time sub peak. We're probably like still 800 subs away. Despite Bissell's best efforts. Oh no. Should I have cycled Lrien Revealed? Are they gonna name Lrien Revealed here? Stick Robot becoming a mod? Yeah, I think there's infinite mod slots. Cause they named Flooded Strand, not a card in the deck. Be sad if this somehow didn't work because we just now ran out of mod slots. Congrats, Robot, on the 1,000,000 channel points. Cool to do pre-prediction too. Or yeah, pre-channel point prediction. Now, we don't have any colorless mana at the moment. We'll see if they have a land for their Saga. Monger with the 5-pack. 5 closer. 5 closer. Just 795 more to go. I was hoping they would attack for 1 and then cap a Cannoneer and I could Hope-Ender it. They do have the 3rd mana, so they're going to go for Saga token, which is pretty bad for me. I guess we get to evoke. I definitely would like to save this for a Saga token. Maybe I can. Maybe I just probably can. Kind of boned in general, though. Maybe a little weak to affinity with this build. Do I need some Hercules recalls? That do a land for the Lava Spur Boots. Alright, well, despite my Chalice being a... Not exactly a 3 for 0 because of the Pinnacle Emissary still giving them value. Still lost. Oh, we actually do want some Allah's Dust in the matchup to clean up Kappa Cannoneers. Not too many. Let's go ahead and bring in the rest of the Chalices. I don't think I want the Dismember. It's not the worst option though. The forces are pretty bad. Not sure about anti-casual. What's the best case scenario? I just kind of like spending 4 mana, putting a Thought-Knot Seer or Riddler in play, then being able to cast it later for some value, then maybe sack it to a Deep-Fiend later too. I agree. I'm not convinced on the card. It's not as good here as it was in the Birthing Ritual deck, I think, where I think it was pretty clearly a pretty good option. Ashek for Saga. Ashek's just too fragile. Yeah, we could have a Dismember for an Emissary. The Seers are pretty bad. Like 2 Consigns, 1 Allah's Dust. Yeah, I do think we need some Hercules recalls. Maybe explosives. Can keep this. Okay, good call on the Dismember gamers. This is like the second time this league that we've had like one kind of close sideboard decision to bring in a 1-drop, and then it's in our opening hand, and then it's been really good. It's happened also with the Ghost Vacuum. I guess the Vacuum wasn't that crazy. We've been down a game every match so far. I think so, yeah. How good was the Izzet deck, and what words? Bad matchups might be playing energy. I thought it was okay. I don't know the exact matchup spread. I rarely do. I think these days with how little I play some of these decks. I think I'll say this: if you're considering playing one of my decks for a tournament series or a tournament, you kind of just gotta watch the VOD, you know. Or I wouldn't recommend bringing a deck to a tournament without having watched the VOD. Alright, so I'm a little bit scared of Rebuke. A little bit of flag too. So I can just hardcast the Nulldrifter next turn. So I'm gonna play like this. Flash in the Coatl and blocking seem good there. Maybe. I mean, they also could have just cast a Pinnacle Emissary. I haven't liked Recall much since most of the affinity builds are playing the Manufacturing. Might be an alright option for this deck. Yeah, that's a good point. I could play Dress Down also. Like, Dress Down can like scam Nulldrifter. It could also just kill the Saga tokens. And killing Saga tokens feels like, you know, maybe that's the hardest part, or the hardest thing for this deck to do. Maybe I should just flash it in. They didn't have a Pinnacle Emissary last turn. Force the Rebuke or take off Metalcraft. This isn't forcing Rebuke. But yeah, could take off Metalcraft, that's true. It's interesting that people are like back on Ravager. Like, I did not really think Ravager was very good when we were testing the weapons builds. I guess I kind of want to block with the Hope-Ender if they attack with the Ravager. Make them sack like 2 things, and then that makes the Nulldrifter attacks better. I don't really want to block with the Nulldrifter. Yeah, you adjust down good into Titan also. Not really much else. Not really much else. Does Emerge reduce colored mana costs? When you emerge with Elder Deep-Fiend, you always, like, part of the emerge cost is blue. So if you're to sack Hope-Ender, this blue doesn't ever pay for that there, if that's what you're asking. Okay, interesting that they wouldn't just play this on 1. Need the Chalice on 6 here. Isn't just good against Infinity? Yeah. That's kind of where this conversation started from. Is that we were? I think I'm a little light to on my Affinity hate. So I'm gonna sack the Hope-Ender, I think, to the Deep-Fiend this turn. I can't Chalice on 1. One, two, three, 4. I'm sure we could figure out a way to have Ravager in good cards. I don't know. The thing is with Ravager, like, Ravager is, I think, just so much clearly worse than just playing like the third like up to the 3rd explosives and a Claws of Gixoff Saga. It just does not feel like you want more sack outlets than that. Ravager's still, like, you know, I think fine if you're on the Hardened Scales plan. I think I'm going to leave the Deep-Fiend back to block the Ravager. Just get aggressive. Oh, sorry. I forgot that I tapped the Ugin's Lab, so I don't have 7 mana anymore. Alright, so I guess now we'll just go Chalice on 1. Island Cycle and hold up the Hope-Ender. Yeah, we already tested a lot of Ravager, and it was worse than Tezzeret, and I don't even think Tezzeret's optimal, but Tezzeret I think was like clearly better. Nice that they're at 5, and any tokens they make off the Emissary, can't block the Deep-Fiend. Hope-Ender is like, let me in there, but everything's just getting countered. Alright, so we get hit for 3. Just gonna go ahead and run this out. If I can connect with the Hope-Ender, then Nulldrifter connections are lethal in the future. I do think I'm just gonna go ahead and draw 2. Maybe a little greedy to not just play the other Nulldrifter, but got a lot of really good cards I can draw. Okay, Seems good enough to me. Just draw 3 with the Nulldrifter. Thank you, Quantum Riddler. You are so broken. So they have to chump block the Deep-Fiend with the Ravager. They also have to sack another permanent. I think I'm just gonna leave the other Hope-Ender back. Maybe it was better to attack with it. It did kind of force another. It did force a block on the Nulldrifter. Probably can't really lose either way. Does Ravager complement a Kappa Cannoneer's Shadow Spear plan? I mean, a little bit. Sometimes, like your Kappa Cannoneer is unblockable, and you just go in on it. But the thing is, Kappa Cannoneer doesn't really need a lot of help killing opponents. Okay, so I guess we just block the higher power. We just block like this, and then yeah, okay. Great. Consigning the Ravager trigger is kind of nice. The fact that they're on Ravager does make Consign better in general. Cosmic with the 11 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Yeah, the Chalice hasn't been good. They're not going to be as good on the draw, probably. I think I'm going to go in on these on the draw. Hoping to steal a game here against Affinity. I do think having some... Maybe we could play Dress Down over Ashiok on the board since we're also a Subtlety deck. Mulliganing this. Keeping this one. I guess I put back the second Subtlety, although I just really can't Subtlety a Pinnacle Emissary here. Usually kind of want to save it for like Kappa Cannoneer anyways. So they lead on a Midnight. They lead on a Midnight. So no Pinnacle Emissary in their hand, I guess. Seems like they have a Metallic Rebuke up. So why don't we go ahead and just trade the Talisman for the Rebuke? Okay, they don't have the Rebuke. Well, it is nice next turn to be able to hold up Subtlety, Hope-Ender, or K-Command, maybe. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hold everything up here. Not too scared of the Ravager on this board. And I don't think that they have a Rebuke in their hand. I think they would probably have rebuked the Talisman since they're tapping out for Ravager the next turn. So we Subtlety this. If I draw a land, I can go K-Command a 1-drop, and then I can Hope-End the Kappa Cannoneer. I think I need to go for the land, just drawn off the K-Command. Could not get there. Why don't we warp the Riddler? Then we should have a pretty clean attack since they're tapping these for the Kappa Cannoneer this turn. Yeah, I saw a lot of Wimby's highlights last night. It was pretty hyped, even if it was against Dallas. So they do have no cards in their hand. Sorry, I should have left up an island for the Hope-Ender. I might take an extra damage. I really like seeing the Fiery Islets out of Affinity. I feel like I haven't been playing them in Affinity, and I'm just now wondering to myself, why haven't I been playing them? Alright, let's go spawn Scry Draw. We have an All's Dust that can deal with the Kappa Cannoneer. We can also try tapping it with Deep-Fiend and like tempoing them out for a bit. Yeah, we had some technical issues beginning of the stream. Their last card's a Consign. Well, that's not good. So I guess I could just play Quantum Riddler and hope they don't draw an artifact. I think that's better because my Deep-Fiend, because my Deep-Fiend can't really do enough here. Hope for the best. We draw another Kappa Cannoneer, and I don't have the Hope-Ender up to counter it. Yeah, dead. Alright, yeah, Affinity seems like we need a little bit more sideboard action for it. Let me get a 4-1 prediction going. I think on the play against Akihiro, we can try this hand. Not being able to imprint the vestige is kind of tough. I might cut the vestiges. They don't feel nearly as good in this build as I thought they would. Like, just typically I like them with like Deep-Fiend, Thought-Knot Seer, Quantum Riddler, but it feels like they're a bit high on the curve. It doesn't really feel like we're hurting too much for things to sack to Deep-Fiend. They really should have made it a 7 drop. I'm glad it wasn't a 7 drop. I think it would have been too good if you could imprint it. Yeah, I watched a lot of the highlights last night. Wemby is looking great. My goat. Alright, we don't have lands. We need to just run out the Hope-Ender here, I think. Dress down for Vestige. Like, put in Dress down into play off the Vestige. Am I still off the mask for trading Luca? I don't know. I'm a much bigger fan of like individual players for the NBA than I am for any specific team. The Mavs are just local, and I grew up watching them. I will say Gafford was hurt last night. I feel like Gafford is like the most underrated player on the Mavs. It's like every time he's not there, it's just devastating for the game plan, I feel. Alright, 3 mana 2/2 flash. Stuck on mana still. We could cycle a Riddler, but then we don't have Force of Negation up anymore. I think that's probably going to be still what we want to do here. If you don't play Vestige, consider Wretched Gryff. Another imprintable emerges off Hope-Ender. It's nice with Subtlety. That's the one. I know it's an emerge card. I don't remember what it does. Let's go Solitude. Yeah, there's many better many better imprintables we can play than this. So if I do draw my land, I think I'm gonna probably end up Elder Deep-Fiending. Well, I guess sacking the Hope-Ender, they'll counter, but then we get to untap and like Vestige Thought-Knot Seer into play. It's a double land. Alright, I'll try to trade the Hope-Ender for the Solitude then, and then K-Command into turn, I guess. They have another Solitude. We probably just K-Command in response. They reveal a Narset here. So them revealing a Narset, does that mean I want to Deep-Fiend? Does that mean I want to K-Command now and look for a blue card to pitch to get rid of the Narset? I think I should try to resolve the K-Command now and find a blue card. What do you think of 2 Flusterstorm on the side over 1 Force, 1 Consign to defend against Consign? Defending against Consign is just, I think, not an important thing, really. So I think I want all of these. So let's draw the Sink now so that we can pitch it to Force. Defending against Consign is just not a thing. Consign is like one efficient cards these decks have against you, and you're like, I think maybe one of the most open secrets is that Eldrazi decks are usually pretty good against the decks that have 4 Consign in their sideboard. I don't know if this is like a hot take or whatever, but this is something that I feel has been a dynamic in Modern for a while. Is that you're an Eldrazi deck. You're good against the decks that have all these Consigns. The Consigns are not really like an effective tool against you. So they're effective, of course, but they aren't like this crazy like game winning game-winning card that you're like crying out in fear when you see 1 mana short of casting the Deep-Fiend. So I guess punish for not leaving the Subtlety on top. That is the card we're drawing next. See if they have another Planeswalker to tap out for. Probably going to be losing this game. They have a Galvanic Discharge in their hand. They don't have any extra energy. I don't really like the idea of emerging the Deep-Fiend off the Thought-Knot Seer, then they just get to still bounce the Deep-Fiend with the Teferi. Gotta take the Daze because of Daze Teferi plus. I thought it was like easily consult. It's interesting that I think it was hard to land on a different choice there. They might bounce the Solitude too. Could be good. They do bounce the Seer. Well, they drew the Narset. All right, down a game. Gonna bring in the 4th copy of Force of Negation. Chalice 1 isn't the worst. Like they do have Tune the Narrative, and they have just Galvanic Discharge. It also like helps a little bit against Consign. Yeah, I think I'd like a second Chalice probably. Don't think I want more than that. Wasn't there merit to emerging off Vestige? I mean, we would have a 5/6 in play. I think typically in this matchup I try to tap their lands with the Deep-Fiend. All's Dust is like my only Planeswalker removal. Well, I've got 4 Force, 4 Subtlety, and a bunch of creatures that can attack the Planeswalkers. I don't think I want to be bringing in All's Dust. It's like a shitty answer for the Planeswalkers, I think. Right. I don't think there's a card I'd rather cut for the second Chalice, so let's just play the 1. Alright, mulligan this on the play, I think. Maybe a little greedy. Our deck mulligans pretty well, though. Alright, keeping this. I think I'm putting back the Lab. I would really like to have drawn an Imprintable, but I guess that's, always the case with that card. Is this a stream crash, or is this, no, just opponent. The phone internet is holding strong. Right, they keep a card on top. Why no Dispute inside? Well, you can play Dispute. I think in general our matchup here is probably pretty good. You could only get 15 sideboard cards. What would you cut if you would like to include Mystical Dispute in the deck? What I main deck consign? I'm pretty seriously considering main decking some consigns over the Vestige. I will say the main deck consign stuff I get kind of bored of to some extent. Where like do I have Nulldrifter in my main deck? Everyone is so like thirsty to main deck consign. Oh, main deck consign. Think of all the scamming we can do, and like the scamming Nulldrifter stuff isn't that exciting. Overall, and scamming Quantum Riddler is not really even a thing when it comes to Consign. Like that's not a very good play. Like it might even be better to play like a Flicker card, because the Flicker card is better with Nulldrifter or like it's the same thing with Nulldrifter and it's better with Riddler. I don't know that I necessarily would do that, but it's like it's just like one of these things where it's a dialogue tree I get kind of tired of. Do I have dialogue tree? Do I have a Nulldrifter in my deck? Then people are really thirsty and like, oh, we could scam. But scamming Nulldrifter is just not, again, I think very important. All right, I'm going to go ahead and use this Force of Negation here. Might be a little greedy. So they have 2 Teferis, they've got an Orim's Chant. And a counterspell. I think I'd like to take the Chant. I really don't want to stop them from being able to go Teferi plus Chant where I can't play any of my instants. They're representing a Consign. Maybe I could draw a Chalice off the Quantum Riddler. Maybe it was just better to hardcast the other Riddler. Okay, they don't have the Consign. Why did they shock at Hallowed Fountain? A bluff? To blave. To blave means to bluff. Well, I take counterspell. So they play the Gaia Reach. Let me attack the Teferi with the Seer. Why not Seer and Riddler there? I did cast Seer and Riddler. If you wanted me to warp the other Riddler, that might have been better. Alright, so they use the Otawara. A lot of why no's in the chat today. Why no, why no, why no? Usually a good sign. So now one of the discharges can kill something here. I think probably just taking the Days Undoing now. ACN. They use a discharge to kill Seer, they draw a card. Their hand is Teferi, discharge Flooded Strand, 2 mystery cards. One of them was this Monumental Henge. They plus the Teferi, they don't put Kahira into their hand. Let me just go ahead and attack the Teferi first. Maybe they're just going to try to activate the Henge. It would be good to play the Seer this turn so that we can take the discharge and they can't discharge the Seer potentially. We already took a Days Undoing. It's like 2 at the most that they have in the deck, so it's probably somewhat safe to not take the Narset. We also have some outs to Force of Negation and Subtlety off the Nulldrifter. So let's evoke the Nulldrifter. I trade Zoo with Doorkeeper. Nulldrifter is very underwhelming, even when you have card against Nulldrifter is crazy. Yeah, people see Annihilator, and like I don't know that people really understand how much worse Annihilator 1 is to Annihilator or any other number. Alright, so we'll see if they find anything off the Henge. The thing is they already have Narset and Teferi in their hand. Find another Teferi. So we're going to evoke pitching the Subtlety, probably. Since they're going to almost definitely end this turn with a Teferi in play. Well, yeah, I think they're going to play another Teferi. Now that we know they have a second one, since they want to be able to go Narset into Days Undoing and keep the Narset if they can. They do put the Teferi on the bottom. Yeah, then they play the second Teferi. I don't think they're going to bounce the Seer. Well, I'm wrong. They draw a card, so we could maybe Thought-Knot Seer the Narset, which is nice. Pretty good chance I'm gonna ignore. Well, wait, no. They bottomed the other Teferi, so I guess we probably not ignore the Teferi. Let's go ahead and see what's in their hand. Oh, they found a consign. Oh, wow. Well, I guess this is how we get Narset's Days Undoing, unless we can K command into a subtlety or a force. I think I'll just go ahead and hold up the K command for now. We have already Thought-Knot Seer to Days Undoing, so it's not very likely we get got by it, but we'll see how good our opponent is at having it. All right. Narset in play. Minus is the Narset. Warp Riddler to play around Days Undoing. Does that play around Days Undoing? Like a little bit. All right, so they kick an Orum's Chant. They have a Consult the Star Charts. Chalice on 3 is great here. Why bottom? I guess I wasn't thinking so much about playing the Chalice on 3. I think that's a good play. Just didn't cross my mind. All right, we get to tap 4 permanents. The thing is, they are going to kick Consult the Star Charts in response. So maybe I shouldn't Deep-Fiend. Maybe I could have merged Deep-Fiend off of the Riddler. Is that bad? Yeah, maybe just Deep-Fiend end of turn. I think it's just the Deep-Fiend just does nothing with them having Consult in their hand. And I could, if they find the Days Undoing, I know I need to dig for Force of Negation. They find a Consign to memory. Then they kick a Consult. So if they're going to main phase this Orum's Chant, that means that they must have the second Days Undoing. I don't really know how else to interpret this. Agent with the 24 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Deep-Fiend in response. What does that do? Don't they just float mana? We know they have a Consign in their hand too. I might Deep-Fiend now. Doesn't really seem like it does anything. Yeah, I think we'll just not. Okay, we can work with this. Assuming they didn't have a Solitude. So I could hardcast the Nulldrifter. Let's see, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's enough to hardcast the Nulldrifter, then evoke the Deep-Fiend off of it. Draw 3. Do I want to sack the Riddler or do I want to sack? I think I'll sack the Riddler. And then they have 4 white sources. I think it's probably best to tap all the white sources. Thank you, Agent, for the 2 years. Yeah, Consult is real good, as we're finding out here. So this hit the board. We can't get Supreme Verdicted this turn, which is nice. Seems like they maybe don't have Consign in their hand, or maybe they found it off the Consult. Kind of hard for them to not have Consign after kicking a Consult there. They do crack a Flooded Strand. They have 8 cards in their hand. They're down to 8 life points. They play another Teferi. They bounce the Deep-Fiend. 8 cards in their hand. Going to discard. So unlikely that they have a Solitude. They would have probably Solituded first. Let's go ahead and see if we can kill the Teferi. They're just going to sack it to the Nulldrifter though. Alright, so they got 7 cards in their hand. Let's start off by casting this Thought-Knot Seer. I'm not expecting it to resolve though. We could Force of Negation this if we wanted. I don't exactly like going shields down, but we only have one thing up. Doesn't seem super likely they have a second Consign, but they could have one. One thing we could do is we could force like this, and we could still have a Deep-Fiend emerge up. So I think I'll go ahead and do that. Thanks, Keith. I really like this one too. Felt like we were due for a good update. Well, I guess we're gonna take the Orm's Chant. Kozilek's Unsealing. I don't know, but Kozilek's Unsealing I wouldn't play. Kozilek's the Ulama Ugin's Binding. We played that one some, the one that bounces a bunch of stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I think I don't think they're gonna have a third Days Undoing in their deck. Famous last words, I guess, but they find another copy of the Orm's Chant. Then they draw 3 cards. So I could go Deep-Fiend off of the Nulldrifter. And this would allow me to kill the Narset this turn and Subtlety the next Narset. Most of you just know about a second Narset, Orm's Chant, mystery card here. What did they pitch? They pitched the Orm's Chant. So we know about the Otawara, the Narset mostly. Should have done a better job. But this, we do draw this card, right? Oh no. Wait, when did we draw a card on this turn? Seems like we must have. I don't remember drawing a card. Oh, wait, sorry, that was there. That's Thought-Knot Seer. I don't draw a card off Thought-Knot Seer, duh. Brain glitch. Okay, so Narset down. I have 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. I don't know, yeah, just my brain glitching here. Okay. Let's say no to this. Let's say yes to 1 Lrien Revealed. Maybe I shouldn't. I guess I could. I can't keep both, can I? I can't Deep-Fiend and Subtlety Evoke. Let's go ahead and keep both with the plans to just Subtlety the new Narset. We know they have Narset, Otawara, and then a bunch of mystery cards still. Down on the clock again. So they go for another Lrien Revealed. Then they Surveil. 9 cards in their hand. Is the key here in their hand? I don't. Yeah, it's not. Quite the match. They do put the Narset back on top. And they go to discard. Discards an Arid Mesa. They kick an Orm's Chant. I do think I'm gonna upkeep Deep-Fiend them. Nice to have a bunch of big instants for the turns they Orm's Chant. And I'm gonna go after oh, I guess they can still Verdict. Okay, I mean, part doesn't matter too much what, which lands we go after at this point in the game. A little bit, I guess. They activate the Hinge. Then they grab the Narset that was on the top of their library. So -1 mana, +1 card. Do they have a third Days Undoing in their deck? This is not my impression that they played 3 Days Undoings, but we'll see. Okay, they tune the narrative. They discharge to gain energy, and this looks like going to be. Oh, they don't have double white available right now. Okay, do they have another fetchable white source? I guess I don't see I see 1 fountain in play. Yeah, you don't have another fetchable white source.
Is this gonna just be the difference between winning and losing this game for them?
So knowing that they are going to Wrath the Skies like the way they played this turn, it seems just like almost definite. We want to take this turn to Lrien Revealed and not commit more to the board. Oh, they discharged the Deep-Fiend. Sorry, I thought I didn't even see the Deep-Fiend go away. And they bounced this Deep-Fiend. Okay, so maybe I'm just. Do I still want a Lrien Revealed? I guess is the big question. Firing one off seems like it could be okay. Could also just hardcast another Nulldrifter while they're tapped out. Seems probably a little better. They also only have 8. I don't know that they can win this game. They have 18 cards in their deck, and we just have like more and more and more gas. So do I want to hold up a Deep-Fiend Emerge? Probably not. I think I'm just going to actually go get my last island. Cast this. Oh, emptying my hand for when I still have a bunch of Riddlers in the deck, I think makes sense. Yeah, they've got 18 cards left in their library. How many Solitudes do they have left? Okay, they force pitching tune the narrative there. They do still have the Narset in their hand. So like if they have a third Days Undoing in the deck, they definitely have a chance. They play a Narset, or sorry, a Teferi. They minus the Teferi on Nulldrifter. 16 cards in their deck. Yeah, we did see a Hall of the Storm Giants earlier this game. And they reveal a Consign to the Narset. So I will try to attack the Narset here. But they found a Solitude. Well, maybe a little early, but I kind of feel like we're firmly in the. I'm just, like, you've got 15 cards left in your control deck. We'll see. Like, can you actually win me or win this game territory? Crazy match. They find another Consign off the Narset. Pluses the Teferi to 2. Kahira in the hand. So their hand is Consigned 2 mystery cards. They're going to take this hit for 4 down to 22. Love how fast our opponent's been playing this match. What might activate the Gaia Reach here? No, they found another Solitude. Can't Subtlety because of Teferi. Can you beat a 5/6? Well, maybe it's better to play Subtlety this turn. Yeah, we know they have Consign, so it's better to play the Subtlety this turn. But I think I'm getting convinced that we will lose this game. You see reminder text YouTube video. I don't know who that is. About Tokyo card shops. Plan on checking any of them out. I guess I'm not planning on going to any card shops on the honeymoon. I don't really buy a lot of Magic cards these days. Lrien, there's a Narset in place, so we cast Lrien. We just put it in the graveyard. They still have that Consign, so I think I need to target the Narset with this attack and then cast a Lrien Revealed. Do you think we're gonna probably lose this game? Narset finally down though. Why are you running the Warp Eldrazi just as a value emerge target? Yeah, but more or less. Definitely been a lot of non-believers in the Vestige. I think I haven't liked it as much as I've liked it in like the Birthing Ritual build. I think that I am interested in cutting them. They feel a little too high on the curve. So I'm down to 2. They're up to 27. The Teferi's up to a kind of annoying 4 loyalty. We know they have a Consign in their hand. So let's see if this sync resolves on the Teferi. See if they can sign this. I think we're probably... I don't really see a line where I can cast both Deep-Fiends through the Consign anyways. Okay, they use the known Consign on this. Still seems like it's going to be very difficult to stabilize here. I'm a Matter Reshaper stan. I have liked Reshaper in the shell in the past. It could be the right call. We could main deck some Consigns. I was thinking about main decking Spell Snare. Yeah, opponent played super well. They did have this is the 4th Consign, something like that. All right, so 3-0 into 3-2. Sorry to believers. I feel like the deck looked pretty good though. Let's go ahead and I do think I want to cut the Vestiges. I think that they're just